What is up, everybody? This is my E3 2017 predictions, expectations, whatever you want to call it. I see everybody's doing these. I've been doing this since the early days of YouTube. I've always been covering E3. Going to be a little bit different this year because I have a lot going on. It's a hectic month for me, but I will definitely be covering E3. It'll just be, the coverage will just be a little bit different. It'll be condensed, but I will be on Twitter during live press conferences. So at Sean Murray NJ on Twitter, you definitely want to follow me there. I will be covering it, and I will be making reaction vlogs. So let's see. So there's a lot to talk about. I was going to make notes and this and that and discuss everything, but I'm just going to go off the top of my head. All right. There's a lot of stuff that's obvious. I'm not going to mention that stuff. I'm going to mention stuff that I'm pretty sure we're going to see, and maybe even throw some oddball, far-out expectations that maybe we will, maybe we won't. And then, like every year, I go back and I watch my prediction video and I see what was right, what I was spot on, and what I was wrong. It's always usually a mix of both, of course. So I definitely think that we're going to see a price drop for the PlayStation 4 Pro. Because I think that Microsoft is definitely going to come out and give us specs, release date, and pricing info on the Project Scorpio. That's without a doubt. As far as what else from Microsoft, I really don't know. They better do something. I mean, Microsoft's definitely been getting better with their press conferences, but with the lack of, titles compared to the PS4 and even the Switch, they've been really number one on top. So I'm sure that Microsoft is going to have a hardware-based E3 because of the Scorpio, but it's all about the software. What are we going to take advantage of? What games are going to take advantage of the Scorpio? What new titles are coming? Are they going to, I'm sure they're going to talk about Forza, the next iteration of Forza, right? Motorsports. I think they're going to talk about, I'm hoping we hear something about Halo, the next Halo, even if it's a teaser or something about Master Chief. Remember Master Chief in the cloak? Everybody's brains were popping out. Something like that. I don't know. That would be great. I mean, we already got our Gears, so I really don't know. I mean, new IPs, I hope, from Microsoft would be great. And, again, more information on the Scorpio and why we want it, why we're going to sell our old Xbox Ones and upgrade to the Scorpio. And then, of course, Sony has got to counter that. So the only thing I can think of from Sony is a price cut for the Pro. As far as Nintendo's E3, they're going to have one of those little half-hour directs or whatever. I'm happy with Nintendo this year. And, Nintendo could actually win E3 if they play their cards right. Give us what we want for the Switch. They got to announce a new Metroid. I want them to announce a new Animal Crossing. I want them to announce, I would like to have like an Amiibo-styled game like Skylanders or Disney Infinity with just Amiibo. That would be awesome, like an Amiibo playground. I got hundreds of these things. What can we do with them? Have a Nindies event. I know they usually do that Treehouse event, which is awesome. So, they've been great with indies. I've been on the eShop every week downloading stuff on the Switch. I'm definitely not complaining about software on the Switch. Those people that are talking about, no software on the Switch are idiots that don't own a Switch. So there's definitely that. I would love to hear maybe, more information about, Skyrim on the Switch. Show some of that off. That would be awesome if, like, Todd Howard comes out, you know what I mean, and talks about that. That may even be at the Bethesda press conference. I'm not sure. I'm just skipping back and forth here. As far as Bethesda, show more Fallout VR. As far as Sony, show a lot more VR games. Tell us why we want the PlayStation VR. I absolutely love my headset, and I'm having a blast with my PlayStation VR. Show us what else we can buy for. What's coming? What games coming are going to have VR support? What are going to be more dedicated games? Like, I thought they were right on the right track with Farpoint, when it had the light gun. I thought that was awesome. I think that they steer more towards dedicated VR games. I think that's going to be great. Even some of these little cheap games, on the PSN store are pretty cool. Talk more about that. Maybe a PSVR price cut. What big titles announced are going to have VR support. Open up with a real nice trailer of God of War 4. Give us a release date, even if it's next year. Give us a release date, February, March 2018. Another whole segment of Days Gone. Show us more about that game. I'm super psyched about that game. A release date possibly, or a tentative release date. Maybe another, have a whole treehouse date for Splatoon 2. I hope they make on-the-spot announcements like, it's downloadable now. Check out the beta. Check out the demo of anything. Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, I know like they usually always do that. They did that with Battlefield one year. So that would be kind of cool. Like, oh man, let's go check out the demo. Release stuff really soon. Like, this release date's next month or this week. Come out of nowhere with something and release it. That's kind of cool. I especially like Nintendo, like with their eShop. I don't know, stuff that like we don't have to wait for it. Basically, is what I'm saying. One thing about E3 is that you always wait a long time for games announced at E3, sometimes years. Give us something where we don't have to wait a long time or release it on the spot, even if it's something small. The Last of Us 2, that's what E3 for me is all about. I know we're way, way off. Give us another teaser. Give us another trailer. I don't know, maybe Ellie is pregnant. I don't know, maybe something happens to Joel. Maybe, there's this turning point in The Last of Us that's going to throw us for a curveball. It's one of my most expected games anticipated games of all time. To me, the first one was a masterpiece. I've been waiting since I finished the first one. So, give us something, with The Last of Us 2. Neil Druckmann's got to be there with an update. Show some more stuff off from Uncharted, the Lost Legacy. What else? I know we got Crashes coming out soon, so we know all about that. I know the Wipeout Omega collection is coming out. I'm trying to think what else for Sony. There's so much that Sony can do. There's tons that Sony can show. Hey, maybe give us, maybe Ed Boon will give us a sneak peek of the next batch of Injustice characters. So, hey, I'd love to know that, I'm trying to still look at the silhouettes of the Injustice 2 characters coming out, and I'm trying to figure out who they are. I know, like, Maximilian and a lot of people have good predictions on them. So maybe we'll find out more about that. DLC and stuff for existing games is always good to hear about on E3 too. We bought these games, we invested in them. What's coming out for them, But again, Nintendo's got to hit it big. Lots of game footage from Mario Odyssey. Pokken Tournament DX that recently just got announced. Show some of that. I know that's coming out September 22nd. I'm sure Bungie on the Sony stage is going to have tons and tons of stuff for Sony, because I know they're really close with Sony as far as exclusives day one. Destiny 2, have Deej come out, show a lot of stuff, get us excited, tell us some stuff that we didn't hear about on the live streams from Bungie. I can't wait. Lots of Call of Duty footage. Need for Speed Payback, show us a lot of that. A Metroid game, announce a Metroid game on the Switch. I'm even fine with a few ports on the Switch. Like, I don't know, fix the controls in Star Fox, re-release that on the Switch. Maybe the next remastered Zelda. We always have a remastered Zelda on the system, so what Zelda are we going to get on the Switch? Maybe Majora's Mask. A lot of times this stuff may be far-fetched, but hey, it could happen. But what I love about E3 and what makes E3 really special is there's always surprises. There's always stuff that we didn't mention in our predictions. There's always stuff that we didn't even think about. And there's always something that comes out and we're like, whoa. Whether it's a new IP or an IP that's been out and we never thought about coming back, or a reboot, that's what makes E3, the Super Bowl of video games. The Christmas of June. There's always something that we're going to get that we didn't expect. And we get all the stuff that we did expect, I'm sure we're going to hear a lot about Assassin's Creed. That's fine. It's been a while since Assassin's Creed, so I'm looking forward to getting back into that. What other ports, I know there was rumored about a Dark Souls port coming to the Switch. Again, we're definitely going to see probably NBA 2K on the Switch. What other games could come out on the Switch from EA? How about Madden? I know there's FIFA. I would absolutely love Madden on the Switch. We just got this piece of hardware. Nintendo should have a really good Direct. I'm hoping Nintendo could. I think of it last year. Nintendo really won E3 if you think about it, and they only came to E3 with like one game, Zelda. But Zelda became a masterpiece. Nintendo knows what they're doing. They could definitely get in there with the big boys. Techs and specs, they don't care about. They care about the games and how fun they are, and people at the treehouse. And I think Nintendo could really do it again, especially since their hardware's out already. And Microsoft, I don't know. Microsoft's got to announce games. Scorpio's fine, but what about the games, though? We already have an Xbox One. What games are we going to want that are going to take advantage of Scorpio? It can't just be, Forza every year. They got to have something. So I'm hoping some new IP from them. I'd like to hear more about Detroit Human. What else? That David Cage game. Oh man, Sony's great. EA and Ubisoft, they're usually goofy. Bethesda's usually really good. Todd Howard comes out. Can't wait. I'm sure it's mostly going to be about Fallout VR. But what about the next iteration of Elder Scrolls? I'm not talking about Skyrim on the Switch. I'm talking about a new Elder Scrolls. We got to hear something, right? There's got to be something that we're going to hear about. I'd like to get a Donkey Kong Country on the Switch. I know Rayman Legends is being ported to the Switch. Maybe we'll hear more about that. Sonic Mania. What else? Let's see. Man, I still want a new 2D Mario game on the Switch. I want that bad. Maybe talk about more mobile games coming on phone, like, with Animal Crossing and Zelda and Pokemon and all that. See what Nintendo's working on for mobile phones. I absolutely love Mario Run. I love that game. Miyamoto. So we'll see what Nintendo has planned as far as that. But other than that, I guess that's pretty much it. I could go on and on. It could get crazy. It really can. But I think most of that stuff that I mentioned, I think a good bulk of it you'll hear about. At least a tease about. And again, I'm sure we're going to get some crazy stuff thrown at us that we couldn't even predict and couldn't even think of. Hopefully all good. So, yeah. That's E3. I think it's going to be another crazy E3. I really do. And I hope it's a good E3. Oh, a lot of footage from Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. I'm dying for that game. And yeah, hopefully indies will have a big... I know indies is usually pretty big with Sony, and now with Nintendo. And I know they have ID at Xbox, so I think we're definitely going to get a good indies fix at E3. But AAA is good too, and third party, and first party. So hopefully it will be a mix of the best of both. Let's hope it's a really good software-influenced E3. And hopefully Microsoft's got some surprises for us. Take care, everybody, and I will see you for more E3 2017 coverage. Take care.